Hi again, everyone. Brian Rhodes here. I hope all is right with all of you out there again today. So, all right, I mentioned we signed our Polish screenwriter. His name is Nerio Bernardi. He's from Montreal. Very interesting guy. I'm expecting big things from him. We've had some long talks. This has taken us a little while to get underway, but the fact is, I'm confident he's going to be able to give us what we want. Now, I mentioned to you a couple of films that I asked him to take a peek at prior to starting the writing, and I hope he does that. But I want to share with you, just what the basis of some of those films are. Let's start with the first being one by Harmony Korine. Now, you probably have not heard much about him. I think back in the 70s, early 70s, maybe mid 70s, I can't recall the time right now. Maybe a little later, I can't recall. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He did a film called Kids. I think I said to you in the last blog, the idea being that we want it to not be documentary, but documentary-like. Well, I think Larry Charles shot this or directed it for him. You'll have to check on that. But it was a striking movie. It made the one female star, Sevigny, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Chloe Sevigny, is that correct? It made her very popular. There were a couple of pretty raw scenes in it. It was restricted, I believe, but in fact, it had a hell of a story. I won't share that with you at this point, except to say how it was written really did grip people who saw it. Some people had to shut it off. But on the other hand, those who did see it thought it was actually documentary, when in fact, Larry Charles, the director, somehow I'm not sure that's his right name, but anyway, Larry Charles, the director, said that it was a tight script, but it was so well done, and it was all so real, and it was shot with, this idea of just people being engaged in what's happening in their lives, that people who saw it really took it out on the cast thereafter, because they believed that the cast in this case were actually doing these things. The young lead guy, I won't go into it to ruin the film for you, actually gave up acting after, because I believe seeing him once on an interview, he said that people would come down on him for doing what he did, and he tried to convince them that he was acting, that it was well scripted, and that it was in fact a movie done in a kind of documentary style. They didn't believe him, so he just gave up the ghost. Pretty fascinating. It really did cause people to be conscious of what was happening moment to moment in the film. That's the type of thing that we want to try to get at with Better Left Unsaid, okay? I'll give you a more modern look, and then we'll probably talk about that later. More modern look at something similar would have been Midnight Cowboy. If you look at it, won Picture of the Year, but the year before that, Oliver won. It was a film that was probably not even going to be made, and it was made with a cluster of all unknown people. I'll go into that at a later date, but a more even modern film that kind of has the same feel to it is one called The Florida Project, which was just a couple of years ago. Very nicely done. Again, it's got that ripping kind of documentary-esque feel to it. Bright colors all over the place. Unique play on that. Very daylit, so to speak. But anyways, having said that, those are the two types of film that we're kind of looking at with Better Left Unsaid. If you look at those three, along with another one by Harmony Korine called Spring Breakers, they were done with relatively small budgets. And that's what we're facing here, a small budget. In the case of I guess I'd say three of the four of them, they were doing with not well-known characters either, actors and so on. And so consequently, from a writer's point of view, a DOP's point of view, director's point of view, actor's point of view, and whatnot. They were skin and bones, right? So we're going to be doing that, obviously, with Better Left Unsaid. So we're kind of looking at telling this story as cleanly as we can in that style. That's what I shared with the polished director, polished screenwriter, I should say, Nerio Bernardi. So hopefully he's going to come up with something close to that, in that style, with that idea in mind, so we can work the story from that perspective. Keep in mind, film is all about story. We've got the story. It's now just putting the final pieces together in how to present it, okay? I'll come back with a couple of more blogs shortly on a couple of other aspects to this. So until then, you take care and stay out of trouble. Bye-bye now.